We are back with another self-care Friday with the Doc Swiner, baller Doc Swiner, who's about to be, she's like baller, yes, baller Doc Swiner that's about to be speaking at Essence Fest. Wow. This is so exciting. Like, I cannot believe that I get to have you on my radio show and you're like Essence famous, right? Like, hello. I love this so much for you. It's very exciting. Despite being a Duke girl, I want great things for you.
Yay, Duke!
Okay, let's not start.
Thank you for creating the opportunities.
Okay, all right. Listen, we're here to talk about self-care. It's Self-Care Friday. We always start off by having Doc Swiner define self-care, which I always categorized as manis, pedis, and massages and facials. And it's that plus, right, Doc Swiner?
Yep. So self-care is now a lifestyle. Not only are you making time for these mani-pedis and treatments, but you have expanded this into creating a less stressful, more balanced, quote unquote, balanced life for yourself in terms of less tension, more time for rest, creating this soft life, healthy relationships, all the things that make you feel good long term.
All right. So what should we focus on this week?
I like talking about the imposter syndromes. Let's talk a little bit about that. Most of us, high achieving ladies suffer from that. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh. Where were you like 7-8 years ago when I was really suffering from this? I've worked my way through it now, but tell us what the imposter syndrome is.
Yeah. So this theory is literally something that is research based. It was discovered in like 1978, the year I was born, by two women psychologists who studied high achieving type A women and realized that we as a group, I like to specify particularly women of color that are high achieving, but women in general who have all the accolades, all the achievements, all these degrees, own these companies or do phenomenal things at home, tend to have this false belief that we don't deserve it or that we're here by happenstance or we got lucky. And it has nothing to do with our intelligence and how much we worked. And that is absolute foolishness. So it's this false belief that you don't deserve the things that you have and that you've achieved.
How do we get out of that? Because it's more than just saying, I do deserve this. I do. How do we get out of that? And how do we rationalize that with ourselves when we look around and see all of the things that we've done, all of the things that we've accomplished and still feel like they're going to figure me out. I'm not really supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to have this position or this salary. And today is the day it all comes crashing down because they're going to realize it.
That's right. And that's part of the definition is feeling like a fraud. Like they're going to find out one day that I'm a fraud. Well, one part of it that I like to kind of pull out, especially if I'm in a workshop setting or speaking to folks, I like to talk about the different types of imposters that people feel like, just to kind of break things down. But there are 5 different types of imposters that you can feel like. And if you go and read, or if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. But 1 is a perfectionist. 2 is, guess what? The superwoman, my favorite. 3, natural genius. 4, soloist, and 5, the expert. So even if you've never read or heard about the imposter syndrome, thinking about what type of person or personality you have, or what kind of standard you hold yourself to, or what kind of fraud you feel like, a lot of these titles make sense. So one thing you have to do is realize that you have it, that you suffer from it. Realize that you do feel like an imposter. And then the second thing is doing exactly what you just did, was saying, I deserve it, I deserve it, I deserve it. Is reminding yourself that you worked hard for this. Like, I deserve to be where I am. Those are like the main 2 things to start with.
I love that. And I'm glad that you were talking about this because I feel like there are people who suffer from imposter syndrome that don't realize this is a thing and it's not just you.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's a real thing that the women, the successful women, the women on their way to success suffer from, and we're not alone.
Right.
There are other people around us that are going through the same thing. And this is a real thing. This is not just that voice of self-doubt in your head.
Yeah. And it can happen to men too, but I mean, as you can think, naturally women would suffer more from this just because of the way that we've been socialized, right? We've been socialized more so to feel humble, to ask our way, to request, to apologize more. You know, we're socialized in those ways. So once you reach a certain stature, um, it's either like one of two things. You're either put it into a category where you feel like you're over masculine, or you're overcompensating, trying to use masculine or what you feel are masculine traits to get where you want to be, or you're the laid back kind of subtle person that kind of takes it softly, doesn't really ask for a lot because you don't think that you'll be given to, or it'll be given to you, that you deserve it, and you don't really do what you need to do for your own self-care. I mean, to be honest with you. So, but if you fit into that second category where you feel like that imposter, that you don't deserve it, that you just happen to be here for whatever reason by happenstance, that does then trickle into other parts of your life, where in your relationships you behave that way, or in in your marriage, with your children, with yourself, like not allowing yourself the space to have those days off, to sit down and take a nap or whatever. I mean, it trickles into your real life, not just work.
Wow. This is great. I'm glad that you brought this up. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're talking about it. So we should take the time for ourselves. As always, it's always back to self-care, right? This is what it's always about. And tell ourselves that we do deserve this.
You absolutely do. You worked hard for it. Yes. It's you, and it's not just luck.
It's you, and it's not just luck.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Doc Swiner. How do our Foxy listeners get in touch with you so that they can get more of your pearls of wisdom?
You can follow me at Doc Swiner on almost all social media, and on Instagram, I'm at Real Doc Swiner. Reach out. Let me know if you want to talk more about these things of mental health that I love talking about.
All right. Thank you, Doc Swiner. We will talk to you again next week for another Self-Care Friday.
Bye.
Bye.